Nation. Uh, First of all, I want to start off by saying I appreciate everybody who's starting to support my channel. I know it's uh, I know it's let me just start off say I appreciate y'all for supporting my channel, and I appreciate the help I've been receiving. To help get the support I'm receiving from my channel. Um, Now I don't know whether I don't know most black people that spend a lot of time on the internet have on social media have heard about the teacher that got into the altercation with the student over the cell phone. And for the most part, you know, for all I've seen most of the people in these comments that are in support of the teacher's actions. Uh, they say that, for the most part, they say that the girl deserved whatever the teacher done to her. They say that the girl deserved, she put herself in an adult's place. A 13-year-old child put herself in an adult's place. Therefore, she should be responsible. She should be eligible to receive an adult uh, beating per se. I'm reading, even though I seen the video and I seen where the woman chest bumped her. I seen where the teacher shoved her, and yeah, she was outside her personal. The little girl was in the teacher's personal space. As I keep on hearing being repeated, but yet and still, this is still a child and this is still an adult. Now, there also has been the point that there are people saying that since she was in her personal space, that the woman felt threatened. Now, I seen the video, I seen the girl, and I say, well, all things considered, the child is somewhat smaller than that adult is. But then you might have those who say, well, you don't know how this little kid is, blah blah blah. I say I'm on the side. I mean, I'm not really to say I'm on the side of the actions of what the child did, but I'm definitely not on the actions of what this adult substitute teacher did. Uh, I'll even be fair enough to say that they both were in the wrong, but in saying they're both in the wrong, there should be a certain level. There's a certain level of and I hate, and that's not to say this may not be the right word to use, accountability one should hold for the position that they are in. Okay, you are the teacher in the position of authority. Meanwhile, this is a student that is in the position of being taught. Now, you aren't this student's regular teacher, so I don't know. I continue to say I don't know what kind of relationship they may have had, whether she knew the woman from the past or what. But in my mind, from seeing the altercation, it seemed to be, well, I mean, it wasn't, to me, it wasn't so much like, well, uh, uh, interchange, a discussion or exchange where it was trying to be a de-escalation of the situation or a correction of the situation. It just seemed like it was like uh, a battle between, I guess you could say, the old bull and the young bull. I said that before on another platform. Whereas the young bull exerts their authority. They assert the fact that I'm a bull, and I deserve. I guess for the most part, deserve what the respect and the honor of being the bull that I am, whatever. And then there's old bull that say, well, okay, uh, I am the older bull, and I've been around longer, and I am in this position I am the position as the lead bull. I've seeded many a cow in the field. Well, I might be going off a little bit too far on this, but uh, the, you know, the person's in that position where they feel, well, you're still the child, you're still the young bull. Young bull, you should stay in the young bull's place. Meanwhile, the old bull, wherever place the old bull has, I guess the old bull controls the whole farmyard, or per se the classroom per se. Now, having that position of being in control of the whole farmyard or the classroom, you have to have a certain type of ability to lead, ability to direct, and an ability to instruct those in which are underneath your covering per se. Uh, now, I now they I keep on hearing. Well, she hit her first. Now, like I said, I seen the video myself. I seen the shove that the woman gave in the chest bump. Okay, the girl in her personal space, but still, you know, it's got to be a point where you as an adult realize where this is going. And I mean, even if it's a point where, uh, and I mean, at this point, it's coulda, woulda, shoulda. Even if it was the point where you could just get a gal her phone back, then call. You say she keep on saying that she was calling for help, and the help wasn't coming. So, well, okay, well, in order to the quickest way to shut down was in front of a whole classroom of kids. The quickest way to shut down what this confusion, this turmoil that's going on right at the moment, the quickest way to do that, I guess, would have been, and it may make you feel your authority may feel a little bit affected. But I thought from my perspective in hindsight, because like I said, it's right about now. It's coulda, woulda, shoulda. In hindsight, she could have just gave Gal the phone back and then just either continue calling or left the room and found somebody to either remove the child or help in the discipline of the child. Because like it's been reported, even though the woman says I've been in the profession, you are a substitute teacher. You are not you do not have a teacher's degree. And so it's like, well, it seems as if you would have been able to, like, okay, calm the situation. You should have been trained to calm the situation. You don't argue. Why would you argue and try to reason with a child in middle class? But the reason I got on here, man, because it's like, and it's been bothering me for days, man, because it's like, well, this 13-year-old, and this woman is she says she been in the profession 22. She been 22 years doing something, and I seen her reply video. It seems self-sanctimonious. It comes to the point where all the finger pointing goes towards the children. These children are out of control. These kids bad. This, that, and the third. And it's like, well, for y'all solution, y'all resolution to these bad kids is like, well, I guess these kids need their ass whooped. They need to have their hands put on them. But from okay, if that's ideology that you say, well, these kids are bad, these kids are not performing or behaving properly in the way in which these adults feel they should be behaving, then, well, that particular student, she felt disrespected. She didn't feel as if the teacher was behaving fairly because she said that you didn't take everybody else's phone. You took my phone. So it's like, well, now, well, you are. You're being disrespectful to me. You're not staying in a teacher's place, so I guess I don't need to. You're not really a real teacher anyway. You're just a substitute. So hell, why not? Why do I have to have respect for you? And now you're at the point now. You're not even really. You're being somewhat rude from my perception. One was being rude, being smart about the mouth. Even in watching her response, where she broke down what happened, talking about how somebody pulled her little track out of her head and all that shit like that, and how she's such a devout woman of God and a great mother, this, that, and the third. Even in that, it was a certain type of self-righteousness. It was certain type of self-satisfaction that she felt as if she, what I mean, and it's not so much that okay that she did it, and and I guess in regards to the fact that now she's being charged for it, I would think that she would have some type of some type of even if she does believe that she was right doing it, that she would have some type of regretting it happening, that some type of sorrow in doing it. But you got all these people in the comment section. Oh, this teacher's right. I'm gonna give this teacher some money for the GoFundMe. These kids is bad. See, the reason the kids like that is the reason why teachers are quitting the teaching profession. That's a goddamn lie. Ain't no teachers quitting no teaching profession because of the kids. Most of the time, it's and I live in Cook County where they constantly have strikes in regards to the teachers. And most of the time, it's about the money, and it's about the resources they have in the classroom. Now, if it was one thing that you could say, if y'all took the position, that teacher should have had better resources, it shouldn't have happened. But a lot of y'all niggas is up here just steadily standing on the fact that it was right for this grown ass woman to whoop this kid, even if the kid did swing on her first. Let's say, for example, your kid swung on you first. You think if you whoop your kid like that teacher whooped that child, and the police came in your house, you think your ass not going to motherfucking jail? Do you really think that? I don't understand. It's like, well, hell, if your kids is bad, the kids is bad, the kids is bad. Who raised the kids? Who raised these children? And it's like, well, now it's like, okay, so you wonder why why they don't respect you. You wonder why they are the way they are. But then you look at the response that y'all have given, and the praise and the adoration and the adulation that y'all give to this woman, this thong skirt wearing woman in the classroom. It just puzzles me. And then I go on I go on her husband's page, and they've reached their $10,000 goal in regards to the fundraiser they was trying to raise in the GoFundMe. But this gentleman, he says that he had an injury or something like that, and he's been under painkillers and meds and stuff like that, and they've been living month to month and check to check or whatever, and they need the help or whatever, man. But listen, if the income that woman was getting from that job was so damn important, then she would have used common sense and patience and more logic in protecting that job. So what you did, because really it was the husband that started the GoFundMe. And it wouldn't be beyond me to think that the wife also wanted to have also injected into the GoFundMe, into the idea for the GoFundMe. I guess what they seen that little white lady, a little white lady bus driver a while back, just a little while back. She was on the bus, and I guess she was chastising some children. So her kind of people, they started GoFundMe for her, and she raised a lot of money on that. But that is somewhat different than what's going on here. They say no. They said even when the report said there was no injuries that were reported, but this woman is on her live talking about her tracks and this, that, and the third, but let's go back to. I'm going back. I'm deviating away from the point I'm trying to make with the husband, the deacon, or whatever. He's supposed to be a deacon. I guess this is where all this God talk, and this, that, and the third that she had in her live response and this and whatever. This gentleman, and people are critical. And I'm critical. I'm critical why y'all got money to get this loser. I'm gonna call the broad a loser because she fight kids, and I don't give a fuck how y'all. Well, I shouldn't say that now. Cause hell, I guess I give a little bit of a fuck because I'm talking about it. Because it concerns me to see all these adults, adult after adult after adult after adult. I know y'all got kids, adult after adult after adult, talk, yeah, cheering this bitch on. What about your kids? Now I'm gonna look at it like this, and I also think y'all will be kind of hypocritical, because I think that if that teacher was whooping on your kid, My kid wouldn't do that. You don't know what your kid do away from you. And I mean, of course, you would like to believe that you raise and you rear your child to a point where they have some modicum of respect for elders or whatever. But how do you teach them to respond to disrespect to them? For some reason, I guess it seems as if that some of you adults are under the belief that children don't deserve any type of respect whatsoever. They just are supposed to reside in this mysterious and nebulous place called a child's place. A child should stay in a child's place. Well, let's define what the child's place is. A lot of children go through a lot of issues. So how do you describe this child's place? This child's place, is it a place of fear? Is it a place of a trepidation where you don't want where you should be afraid to ask questions or question whatever level of authority that comes at you, no matter how confusing that authority might be to you? Hell, I guess stay in a child's place means if someone attempts to victimize a child and the child refuses to fight back or speak out against that victimization because, hey, I'm the adult and I say you better not say nothing, then that's supposed to be okay. Niggas, y'all niggas disappoint me, man. Y'all African American, black, and Negro folks disappoint me. And y'all be the first one to holler out and cry and bitch and moan if a motherfucking police officer do something to a kid or do something to another nigga. Or be the first one to cry out if somebody say something so-called do something racist to you. And I mean, I'm not saying that racism doesn't exist, and I'm not scoffing racism. I'm just saying that some of these modern day fights against arguments against race, where somebody done something racist to them, is kind of like bullshit. It makes the black person look weak and simple. But this is what we stand on. We stand on the fact we got a right to whoop with respect into our children. Y'all people is disgusting, man. I mean, it's like, well, all right. That's how you want to live. That's the ideology you want to have. And I can speak from the perspective well, I was disrespectful to teachers. And I mean, I come from the days of Palin. I mean, I think it was more than one occasion where, because my parents had told the teacher, I think probably my father told the teachers that if he act up, whoop him in front of the class or some bullshit like that. That wasn't gonna happen. I mean, I remember, I vividly remember in the 6th grade, trying to wrestle the paddle away from Principal Guy R. Suffin. And I think it was another situation where I where another teacher, Miss Bolick, tried to paddle me in front. Man, you can't. You trying to kill kids' spirits? Okay. The kid may have been uppity and not say uppity. The kid may have been, uncontrollable. But you look at it like this: you talking about these cell phones, these cell phone devices that just about every person has, almost from the point of being a baby. So it's like, well, we have developed a dependency on these devices. So it's like, okay, well, you took pretty much an appendage away from a child, an immature child, but you let the rest of her peers keep their phone. Now another thing I haven't heard her say, I didn't hear the substitute teacher say what was the exact violation that made her specifically keep that girl's phone. I've heard some stuff like she was taking pictures of her or whatever. All right, well, if she's taking pictures of you and you say don't take pictures of me, and you know where it's gonna go, if you keep going back and forth trying to reason with a child, why don't you get your fat ass up and go outside the room and tell somebody about it? But no, you had to feel as if you were in control. You could handle it. And now we supposed to give you money and feel pity and sympathy for you because now you done got a motherfucking charge. Bitch, die slow. But that's all I really want, man. I mean, I've been just sitting here just brooding and looking at this stuff online, man. And I mean, I understand how y'all feel. Okay, you know, well, if somebody hit you, you hit them back. That old ass shit there, man. I mean, I guess once upon a time, I guess it was effective for what it was worth. But now we live in an era where you can't even call people names no more without getting ostracized or somewhat semi-canceled, depending on whatever, however you define that bullshit. You can't even verbally abuse nobody, let alone put hands on somebody. Y'all, the way y'all explain what y'all saw in that video, you would think that the little girl was 6'5" and 258 pounds. And the teacher was like 5'2" and 110. Kids is disrespect. We don't know what we gonna do with these kids. A lot of y'all parents, a lot of our parents didn't know what they was gonna do with us either. Us Generation X kids, you know, the ones who ushered in the era of gang banging and you know the crack selling, you know, even to the point where I guess now yeah, I guess Generation X, because I was a teenager when the crack era really started popping off. Some of our Generation X folks are crack babies. Some of our Generation X adults were raised by crack addicted parents. So I guess it's easy for them to say, well, this is the way we react. This is the way we treat our children and things of that nature. This is the way, you know, if they act up, you put them in their place by any means. I used to think that way because, like I said, I was, you know, switches, extension cords, broomsticks, uh, belts, hands, uh, and even with those methods of corporal punishment, I still was receiving punishment to where, okay, when you come home from school, for each C you got on your report cards, you got to sit at the table an hour and study. I don't know, man. But yeah, like I said, man, I appreciate y'all for continuing to support my little YouTube page. I'm just a little bit away from, I guess, the monetization aspect of it. I have a strike on my page, so I really can't even do that until the strike ends. Like, I guess that should fall off at the beginning of May, but whatever, man. I just want y'all to think about it, man. I want y'all to think from the perspective of the child, because one thing I have not yet seen yet is anybody talk to the child, anybody talk to the child's parents, anybody try to get an insight on what was going on in the kid's mind during the situation. But we got to hear this raggedy ass broad with her little sob ass sanctimonious ass tales, and meanwhile y'all niggas lapping it up like some motherfucking morons. She deserved it. I even read a woman say that. A woman say that she deserved it. Ain't that what they tell the woman beat niggas? Ain't that what they tell ain't that what the woman beat the niggas say to when they whoop their broad up? Oh, she deserved it. Nigga nation or nothing, man. Peace and love. Motherfucking